Amaterasu. Amaterasu belongs to Itachi and Sasuke's right Mangekyou Sharingan. It's officially the highest level of fire release in the entire series, producing black flames that spawn directly at your focal point. Wherever you're looking, the flames appear. On paper, this sounds like a guaranteed kill. You look at someone, black fire manifests on them. They burn until there's ash. Done. It's strong. Yes, definitely, but it's quite slow. It takes like forever to burn through a samurai's armor, or even struggles with wood and earth. Well, Itachi's Amaterasu destroyed Jiraiya's supposedly indestructible toad stomach. But then Sasuke couldn't fully incinerate a single armored samurai. Oh, is that Sasuke's Amaterasu was weaker than Itachi's? No. The flame is slow. That's it. The actual combat effectiveness comes down to a few factors people overlook. First, yeah, it spawns at your focal point, but fast enough opponents can dodge after you've cast it. The Raikage did exactly this. Second, it burns slowly under normal conditions. The Raikage chopped his own arm off before the flames spread. The inextinguishable part is technically true, but only the user can put them out, which means if you're quick enough to remove the burning material from your body, you're not dying. And we have to mention psychological pressure and area denial. When Sasuke surrounds himself in black flames using Kagutsuchi, nobody's rushing him. It melted through Kaguya's ice that trapped Naruto. These are the actual top-tier feats, not instant kills, but forcing god-tier opponents to respect the threat. The real controversy: Amaterasu gets countered more than any ultimate technique should. Chakra cloaks block it. Rinnegan absorbs it. Sealing scrolls neutralize it. Gaara's sand deflects it. Even Jiraiya sealed it away in their first encounter using basic Fuinjutsu. For something hyped as flames from hell that burn hotter than the sun, it sure gets stopped by a lot of mid-tier defensive options. That's the gap between the hype and the reality. It's deadly if it connects, and you have no counter. But at high-level combat, most relevant fighters either tank it with chakra constructs or have the speed to avoid the initial spawn point. A huge thank you to everyone who has been with this channel since the very beginning. From the Naruto videos to the lively discussions and all of your amazing comments, your support has been the driving force behind my passion to keep creating and sharing unforgettable moments. We're now so close to reach 1K subscribers. If you love anime, enjoy uncovering hidden details, diving into exciting theories, and watching top-quality videos, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and let's hit 1K together. And please share your favorite character or any ideas you'd love to see in upcoming videos. I truly value your feedback. Blaze release Kagutsuchi. This is Sasuke's right Mangekyou ability. And honestly, this is what turns Amaterasu from a basic black fireball into an actual weapon you can control. Itachi can use the black flame. Sasuke spawned the flames and then sculpted them mid-fight. That's the difference. Here's how it works. Sasuke's left eye casts Amaterasu. His right eye applies shape transformation to those flames using Kagutsuchi. He can turn black fire into spikes, barriers, swords, arrows, shields, whatever he needs in the moment. We need to talk about versatility. When Sasuke wraps his Susanoo ribcage in black flames, nobody's getting close. When he forms a barrier of flame spikes, you get pierced and burned simultaneously if you touch it. When he coats his sword or Chidori with Amaterasu, the attack becomes exponentially more lethal. He can even hold the flames in his hand without getting burned, which shouldn't be possible. But Kagutsuchi apparently gives him immunity to his own fire. Unlike base Amaterasu, Kagutsuchi adds physical force to the flames. Amaterasu burns slowly and can be dodged. Kagutsuchi-shaped flames act like solid mass. They pierce, cut, and impact with actual force before the burning even starts. Interestingly, Kagutsuchi doesn't really make Sasuke's eyes bleed like Amaterasu does. He spams flame control constantly throughout fights, while Amaterasu gets used, maybe once or twice, before his eye starts hemorrhaging. This suggests Kagutsuchi has way less strain, despite being arguably more useful in combat. Kamui. Kamui is Obito Uchiha's Mangekyou ability, and it's legitimately one of the most broken space-time ninjutsu in the entire series. This technique uses a personal pocket dimension that only Kamui can access, meaning if you get sent there, you're completely trapped until the user decides to let you out. Even your chakra signature vanishes, making you untraceable. The ability functions differently depending on which eye is active, and that split is what made Obito nearly untouchable for most of the series. Obito's right eye, the one he kept, does short-range Kamui. He can teleport himself, other people, or objects he's touching directly into the Kamui dimension. This is how he escaped from Minato, the 5 Kage, and basically every major threat he faced. But the real genius of the right eye is the intangibility. When activated, parts of Obito's body automatically phase into the Kamui dimension, making attacks pass straight through him. He's not dodging. He's literally removing the parts of his body that would get hit and placing them in another dimension for a split second. This means, unless you can hit him faster than his eye can react, you're not landing anything. So, the only way to beat Kamui is to be substantially faster than the user, or have an attack that lasts longer than 5 minutes straight, because that's the maximum duration Obito can maintain intangibility. The left eye, which Kakashi had, does long-range Kamui. Kakashi creates a barrier space at any point he's looking at, and anything inside that barrier gets sucked into the Kamui dimension. The precision required is insane, though. Early on, Kakashi kept missing, or only warping part of his target. Like when he sniped Deidara's arm but couldn't get the whole body. Over time, he got accurate enough to intercept projectiles mid-flight, which is how he countered Pain's nail. The versatility is what puts this ability in its own tier. Obito used Kamui to travel and ambush opponents. He stored weapons in the dimension and launched them out with force for offensive surprise attacks. He could pass through solid barriers, which messed with people's perception of what was even happening. And when both eyes work together, the teleportation speed doubles, and the user can create massive portals that let entire groups travel between dimensions. The only real limitations, while intangible, Obito can't physically interact with anything, so he has to solidify to throw a punch or grab someone. That brief transition from intangible to solid is when he's vulnerable. Also, while he's maintaining intangibility, he can't use Kamui for teleportation at the same time. And when Obito became the Ten Tails Jinchuriki, he lost access to the intangibility entirely. Maybe Ten Tails chakra interfered with the dimensional phasing somehow. Bottom line, Kamui is the ability that let Obito go toe-to-toe with Minato, the 5 Kage, Naruto, Killer Bee, and basically every top-tier fighter in the series. Without it, Obito's combat record would be completely different. Ohirume. Ohirume is Sarada Uchiha's right Mangekyou ability, revealed in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex. And this technique is legitimately one of the most conceptually insane abilities introduced in the entire franchise. The name comes from another title, for Amaterasu, the Japanese sun goddess. Continuing the Uchiha tradition of naming Mangekyou abilities after Shinto deities. But instead of black flames like her father and uncle, Sarada manipulates gravity itself. Ohirume lets Sarada create up to 4 black spheres that range from 5 centimeters to 250 centimeters in diameter. These spheres generate gravitational pull disproportionate to their actual mass, meaning a basketball-sized sphere can produce gravity strong enough to crush a high-level opponent. She can freely control what gets pulled toward each sphere. Weapons. Jutsu. Living beings. Whatever she targets with her gaze. When Sarada first used this against Ryu, the human god tree, she absorbed all of his iron sand attacks into the spheres, then amplified the gravity to pin him against the surface and literally crushed his entire body into nothing. That's not hyperbole. Ryu was shattered into pieces almost instantaneously, leaving only his thorn soul bulb behind. The tactical versatility is what makes Ohirume broken in ways that most Mangekyou abilities aren't, because Sarada can only affect targets in her direct line of sight. She has precise control over what the gravity impacts. However, if she targets a living being, the gravitational force applies to her as well. To compensate for this, she can manipulate all 4 spheres simultaneously to balance the gravitational pull on her body, which lets her levitate and fly at high speeds, similar to how Otsutsuki clan members move. This means she's not just using gravity offensively, she's using it for mobility, effectively giving herself flight in combat. She can also detonate the spheres to produce explosions, pull targets toward or away from her position, and amplify individual spheres' gravitational force to massively increase their crushing power. The technique is a perfect counter to space-time ninjutsu like Code's claw marks. It's also devastating against projectile-based fighters or elemental jutsu users. since Sarada can just absorb incoming attacks into the spheres before they reach her. What's interesting is that unlike the Rinnegan's universal pull, which indiscriminately affects everything in range, Ohirume allows tactical precision. Sarada can target specific threats while leaving allies or her surroundings completely unaffected. This is massive in team fights, where area of effect techniques would hit friendlies. The drawbacks are severe, though. Like all Mangekyou abilities, Ohirume consumes massive amounts of chakra and causes progressive vision deterioration, leading to blindness. When Sarada amplifies a sphere's gravity, it places enormous strain on her, causing her right eye, the one linked to Ohirume, to bleed. The first time she used the technique against Ryu, she fell unconscious immediately after from the exertion. She's still young and inexperienced, so her chakra reserves can't sustain extended use yet. Everybody is speculating hard about what her left eye's ability will be. Since the technique is named after Amaterasu, and both Itachi and Sasuke had Amaterasu as their signature move, there's heavy speculation. Sarada might inherit Black Flames as her second ability, if her Susanoo functions like Kakashi's did, where he could throw Kamui-infused shuriken. Sarada might be able to launch black hole projectiles, which would be absolutely absurd. The real question is whether Ohirume is stronger than Kamui in combat. Kamui made Obito nearly untouchable because of intangibility, but Obito never went blind from using it due to Hashirama's cells compensating for the strain. Sarada's Ohirume will deteriorate her vision with repeated use, and she's currently limited to 4 spheres maximum. So while the raw destructive power might surpass Kamui's offensive applications, the sustainability isn't there yet. If Sarada gets access to Hashirama cells or achieves eternal Mangekyou by transplanting eyes, the calculus changes completely. Koto Amatsukami. Koto Amatsukami is Shisui Uchiha's Mangekyou ability, and this is hands down the most conceptually terrifying genjutsu in the entire series outside of the infinite Tsukuyomi. Unlike other genjutsu that trap you in an illusory world you can potentially escape from, Koto Amatsukami hijacks your subconscious and implants ideas directly into your brain, making you believe they're your own thoughts. The victim has zero awareness. They're being manipulated. They genuinely think every decision they make is their own free will. This is the genjutsu Danzo wanted so badly he literally ambushed Shisui and ripped his right eye out. Shisui gave his remaining left eye to Itachi before dying, and Itachi embedded it into a crow he later sealed inside Naruto. The setup was rigged so that if the crow ever encountered Itachi's Mangekyou Sharingan, it would activate Koto Matsukami with the pre-programmed command Protect Konoha. Itachi intended this as a failsafe against Sasuke, in case his brother ever attacked the village. Instead, it activated on Itachi himself when he was reanimated during the war, and the genjutsu was strong enough to completely override Kabuto's Edo Tensei control over Itachi's body, which is supposed to be near absolute mind control. That feat alone puts Koto Amatsukami in a different tier. This technique doesn't require eye contact, like most Sharingan genjutsu. Danzo cast it on Mifune during the 5 Kage summit, while his right eye was still bandaged. As long as the target is within your line of sight, you can hit them. The major drawback: after one use, the eye can't activate Koto Amatsukami again for 10 years. That's an insane cooldown. Hashirama's cells can reduce this, which is how Danzo was able to use it more frequently. But even with Hashirama's chakra boost, you still can't spam it multiple times in a short time. Shisui died in his 20s, so he likely only used this ability 4 times total in his entire life. He was planning to use it on the Uchiha clan leaders to prevent the coup by implanting the thought, "Don't rebel," into their minds simultaneously. But Danzo took his eye before he got the chance. The reason fans constantly argue Koto Matsukami is stronger than Tsukuyomi is simple. Tsukuyomi tortures you in an illusory world for what feels like days. But once it ends, as you know you got hit with genjutsu. Koto Amatsukami rewrites your thought process permanently, and you never know it happened. One is psychological warfare. The other is actual mind control, for espionage, assassination, or political manipulation. Koto Amatsukami is unmatched. For direct combat, where you need to disable someone instantly, Tsukuyomi works better because you don't need to wait for the victim to act on the implanted command. Susanoo. Susanoo is the ultimate Mangekyou ability, and it's the only technique shared across all Mangekyou users who have both eyes active. It manifests as a gigantic humanoid avatar made of the user's chakra that acts as both shield and weapon, surrounding the user and fighting on their behalf. You need both Mangekyou Sharingan activated to use it, which is why Obito and Kakashi couldn't access it until the war arc, when Obito temporarily gave Kakashi both eyes. The technique has multiple developmental stages, starting from just skeletal ribs for basic defense, then adding muscles and skin, then full armor, and finally reaching the complete body form that's comparable in size and power to tailed beasts. Sasuke described using Susanoo as feeling pain in every cell of his body. With the pain increasing, the longer it's active and the more advanced the form, the chakra drain is massive, and because it's a Mangekyou ability. Repeated use damages the user's vision and causes eye strain, severe enough to make them bleed. Interestingly though, Madara was able to use Susanoo even after losing both his eyes completely, which suggests, once you've mastered it, you don't technically need the Sharingan active anymore. Especially, Susanoo is a selective barrier, meaning the user can still cast jutsu from inside, and those attacks pass through Susanoo without issue. But enemies outside can't penetrate it. You can also bring other people inside with your permission. The defense isn't perfect though. Susanoo only blocks physical attacks, so visual genjutsu and auditory attacks like sound-based jutsu can still hit the user. Also, unless the legs are fully manifested, you're still vulnerable to attacks from below. If it gets damaged, Susanoo doesn't regenerate. You either have to advance it to the next stage or disperse it entirely and reform it from scratch. Each Susanoo is completely unique depending on whose Mangekyou spawned it. The shape, color, weapons, and abilities differ massively between users. For example, Itachi's Susanoo is red-orange and wields two legendary weapons, the Sword of Totsuka in its right hand and the Yata Mirror in its left. The Totsuka blade can seal anyone it pierces into a genjutsu world of drunken dreams forever, while the Yata Mirror changes its chakra nature to nullify any attack thrown at it. Zetsu outright stated these two weapons made Itachi's Susanoo invincible, which is wild because Itachi never even reached the complete body form before he died. Madara's Susanoo is dark blue and has a completely unique design. It's split down the middle with two faces back to back, each with its own set of arms, giving it 4 arms total. The blades of this Susanoo are strong enough to block tailed beast balls and slash through multiple mountain ranges in a single swing. When Madara reached the complete body form, his Susanoo became the first one shown in the series that could match the size and destructive power of the Nine Tails. Kakashi's Susanoo is light blue and only appeared in its complete body form during the Kaguya fight. It has a vertical scar across its left eye matching Kakashi's own, wields a katana, and its signature weapon is Mangekyou-shaped shuriken that can warp away anything they touch on contact using Kamui. This is the only Susanoo that integrates space-time ninjutsu directly into its attacks, making it absurdly versatile. Kakashi's Susanoo was strong enough to wound Kaguya, which puts it in a completely different tier than most others. The catch is that not every Mangekyou user can reach the complete body stage. Only Madara, Sasuke, Indra, and Kakashi have been confirmed to manifest the stabilized, complete body form in canon. And Kakashi only did it with temporary borrowed power from Obito's spirit. Tsukuyomi? Tsukuyomi is Itachi's left Mangekyou ability, and it's legitimately one of the most broken genjutsu in the entire series. Arguably more terrifying than Koto Amatsukami in certain ways. After making eye contact with a target, Itachi traps them in an illusion where he has complete control over their perception of time. He can make seconds feel like days, subjecting victims to continuous torture for what feels like 72 hours, when in reality, only a fraction of a second has passed. When Itachi used Tsukuyomi on Kakashi during Part 1, he tied him to a cross and had hundreds of copies of himself stab Kakashi repeatedly for what felt like 3 full days. In reality, the entire Genjutsu happened in under 2 seconds. Kisame was genuinely surprised Kakashi's mind was even still intact afterward. And then, Kakashi was left comatose and needed Tsunade, the only medical ninja confirmed capable of healing Tsukuyomi's psychological damage, to recover. The time dilation is what makes Tsukuyomi genuinely horrifying on a conceptual level. According to the Itachi Shinden novel, Time Inside, Tsukuyomi moves at 1/100th of 1/1000th of 1/1,000,000th the speed of real time. Itachi used this on Izumi Uchiha to let her live through an entire lifetime of happiness, decades of marriage, children, growing old together. In the span of a few moments before she died peacefully of old age, inside the illusion, when the Genjutsu ended, her actual body died as well. That's the kind of precision control Itachi had over the technique. Normal Genjutsu breaking methods don't work against Tsukuyomi because of how fast Itachi can cast it and the sheer power of the Mangekyou Sharingan behind it. Kakashi explicitly stated that if you get caught by Itachi's ocular jutsu, he has you instantly. The only people who can resist it are high-level Sharingan users with Uchiha blood. Itachi said, only a Sharingan user who shares his bloodline could break Tsukuyomi, which is why Sasuke was able to dispel it during their final fight. But perhaps Itachi was actually holding back against Sasuke, because the version he used on Kakashi was far more brutal and completely incapacitated him. The drawbacks are significant, though. Using Tsukuyomi requires a massive amount of chakra, making it inadvisable for Itachi to continue fighting afterward. It also places enormous strain on his left eye specifically, blurring his vision with each use. This is why Itachi rarely used Tsukuyomi in prolonged battles. He'd cast it once to instantly end the fight, or not at all. Alright, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.